Hey guys, okay, so this is part one of 3 different videos that I'm going to film for the fairy wings, but I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the stuff that you're going to use in this video, just in case you don't really know how to use it, and when I'm explaining over me doing stuff, you might not understand what I'm saying, so I'm going to go and explain it to you here. First thing I'm going to talk about is the Gorilla Glue. This bubbles up. It expands quite a bit. So when you do use this glue, you want to use very minimal amounts of it. You don't want to just put all kinds of glue on top of the seams of the wing bones. Don't excessively use the glue. This does take about 3 hours to completely dry. So whenever you do have the 2 parts of the wing bones put together, they have to be able to stay there. You can't just put the glue and then hold it and wait for it to dry like you can a hot glue gun. This takes forever to dry, so you have to make sure that it's put together. That takes us to item number 2, the tape. It doesn't matter what kind of tape you have. Whenever you're having to put 2 parts of the wing together that you're gonna have to glue, but they're not just they won't stick together, tape. You use a little bit of the tape, wrap around them so they stay together, and then you take the glue and put a little bit of the glue on top of the tape and in between the tape where the wire is actually touching each other. So this isn't that important, but it does help. It does. Now, if you don't like using the tape, you can use a hot glue gun instead of the tape. So if the 2 pieces aren't staying and the tape isn't working and you just have it's a hot mess, get a hot glue gun, do the hot glue gun, stick it together. Items 3 and 4. These things. Okay, so these are really, really rusty and ugly looking. When you get these at the store, they're probably gonna look nice and shiny and new. Thing here, and I'm having a lot of time. These are not fun to work with if you're weak like me. I have no arm muscles. I have fat. So, you're gonna get a workout. So, fair warning, workout with these. Now, if you get new ones that aren't rusty like these are, it's probably gonna work a lot better. But cutting this wire with these about 50, 60 little pieces, is a workout. It doesn't matter what kind of wire cutters you have, as long as you have wire cutters. And then pliers. The pliers you're going to use to manipulate the wire when your hands can't. So the tight turns that your fingers just aren't strong enough to get, or your hands are too small like me, you use these. Then for the most important part of this, the wire. Now, I got this wire at Home Depot. It comes actually in about this size. I've used a lot of this wire. I have made 6 pairs of wings so far. It's a lot of wings. And so this has gone down quite a bit. I think when I bought it, it was about more like that big. And now it's down to here. This is a 14 gauge wire. You can use a 16 gauge wire if you want. It really depends on you. The wire is pretty thick. It's pretty easy to move and manipulate, but when you do move it, it stays. I think the whole roll was either $20 or $40. I don't remember. But for this entire roll, I've been able to make 6 pairs of wings, and I still have enough to make probably about 2 more. So it's a good deal for me. The standard ring boning is the outside of the wing is going to be a 14 gauge wire, and then the inside design boning is going to be a 16 gauge wire. Mine, I use the 14 gauge wire for the outside and the inside, and that's just because mine are so big. The 16 gauge just, it doesn't hold its shape really well, and it starts coming apart because it's so heavy. So you can choose what you want to do. If you like how I do mine and you want to just copy, that's fine. If you want to do the 14 and 16 gauge wire, you can do that. It depends on the size of your wings and the shape of them. So it's really to each their own. So let's get started.
First thing you're going to do is put the wrapping paper on the wall so you can make your wing design. And you're just going to have someone stand in front of it so you can get the right shape and size of whatever kind of wing you're trying to create. And then once you take it down and kind of get the shape sharpened out, then you're going to go ahead and decide what you want the inside design to look like, and it really doesn't matter what it is. We just looked up fairy wings online and kind of picked some stuff out that we liked about each one. And don't forget to do your bottom, the smaller part of the wing. And then you're going to do the outside boning of the wing, and since it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, I'm going to show you how to do it with smaller wire. But you'll have your design, and then you're going to put the wire around the design, and it's very important that you don't cut the wire. It has to stay connected. The whole thing needs to be connected. But the entire outside boning is one long piece. And since it's hard to see with the big wire, that's what it looks like with the small wire. And you're just going to do the exact same thing on the big wire. It's just hard to see. And once you've got the wings cut and molded to what you like, go ahead and hang them or put them aside so they won't be bothered and the shape stays nice. And I just put them on a hook on my ceiling, but whatever you can find works. And then you're going to go ahead and start working on the inside boning. And this part takes a while because you have to do 4 different wing sets. But you do each piece at a time. You cut it, you shape it and cut it, and then set it to the side. And as you can see, I'm not exactly staying 100% with my design. I keep changing the wing shape just a little bit here and there, and that's really up to you when you're doing it and you're like, I like this better that way. And as you can see with these little tiny pieces, what I'm doing is I will shape it and then I'll cut it. And then since they're all kind of intertwined and attached, I'm taking a little piece of tape after I've cut it and making sure that they're taped together, and that just kind of helps them not get lost and helps me stay organized. So whenever I go to glue all of it, it's already kind of bunched together and I don't have to be like, okay, this one went there, that one went here. It's kind of already in its place. And then you're going to go ahead and start working with the Gorilla Glue. Okay, so Gorilla Glue, it starts activating after it's been wet with water. So go ahead and put a little bit of water on the parts that you're gluing, and then you put the glue on top. And then you're going to take a Q-tip and spread out the glue a little bit so it doesn't get all clumpy. And then the parts that have tape, you're going to go back with the Gorilla Glue and make sure that there's glue in between the tape where the wires touch and not just over top the tape. And then go back with the Q-tip and spread it out. And you want to go ahead and make sure it's on a cookie cutter or something lifted up, because the glue does drip off, and if it's not on something that's raised, it will just glue to the ground and you won't be able to pick it up. Working on the bottom part of the wings, and they're really easy to put together because you go ahead and do the outside boning with the inside boning, and it all gets done in one fast swoop. This process is extremely repetitive. You literally just keep doing the tape it together, glue it together, tape it together, and glue it together until all of the wings are finished. Because the wings are pretty massive, it just takes a lot of different little sections, and then the glue takes about 3 hours to completely dry. And then you're going to do the outside boning. The first part is you're going to make sure the outside boning is completely connected. You're going to make it one big oval. And then you're going to do the same thing you've done before, is just tape it together, glue it, and let it sit. The only difference about adding the inside to the outside boning is, as you can see, the inside doesn't fit 100%. So I'm having to manipulate it, and so it will fit. And you kind of twist it to where it needs to be, and then you tape it down. But other than that, it's the same thing you've been doing. You have little pieces, if you decide to have little tiny pieces and they're too small to use tape to have them stay together, you can do what I did, and that's where you take a little piece and you put it on top of some kind of object, and you just add the glue without any tape and just let it sit there and don't mess with it. And then after the glue is completely dry on all of the wings, you're going to go ahead and cut all the little pieces that drip down. Like I said, this glue bubbles up, and so you're going to have to cut some of the pieces off because the boning won't look good if you can just leave them there.